As technology and human innovation evolve, scientists and archaeologists discover more and more about the world around us. So today, here at Unexplained Mysteries, we'll be taking a look at interesting discoveries from around the world. Jaguar God Cave has just been explored after remaining undisturbed. A young boy stumbled across a peculiar cave hidden and tucked away in Mexico's Yucatán Peninsula. He grew up, studied, and became an archaeologist, when he then returned to the cave he had discovered as a child, this time as the leader of an archaeological team. While this may sound like the next Netflix original movie plot, it is in fact the very real story of Luis Un, the man who led the team of archaeologists whom, in 2019, explored a cave that would soon become known as the Jaguar God Cave. Before stumbling across this cave, only a few knew of its existence at all. Residents of the Mayan city, Chichén Itzá, though few in number, would have known about this thrilling cave, and Luis Un happened to wander by it as a child. Besides this very limited number of people, the cave remained a secret. That is until 1966, when some farmers mistakenly and innocently ventured too close to the Jaguar God Cave. It was sealed with some urgency and remained untouched until Luis Un and his team of researchers made their way to the Mayan cave to explore inside. While the Jaguar God Cave is a fun, casual nickname, this cave is formally known as Balamku, or the Cave of the Jaguar God. Mayan religious and mythological sources describe a number of deities as jaguars. Generally speaking, the Mayan people viewed the jaguar as a symbol of strength and power. This, coupled with the distinctive coat, makes jaguars easy to spot throughout Mayan religious texts. In a cave dedicated to figures of such power, it should come as no surprise that a number of riches and ancient artifacts have been uncovered. Un's team found more than 200 ancient artifacts, including what seemed to be the remains of ceremonial food containers, incense holders, and sacred drinking items. Many of the artifacts uncovered bore the symbol of Tlaloc, the Mayan god of water and fertility. Guillermo de Anda, an archaeologist working at Mexico's National Institute of Anthropology and History, explained that 7 ritual chambers had been unveiled from within this cave. He stated, "Balamku will help rewrite the story of Chichén Itzá," crediting the value of this discovery in part to, as he described, the extraordinary state of preservation. Some theorists have suggested that the artifacts have been so well preserved due to the difficulty to navigate Balamku. With corridors of only 40 centimeters in height, this is far from an easy cave for archaeologists to crawl their way to. In the uncovered artifacts, hints of various minerals and bones were observed, and a full examination could prove to be incredibly valuable, presenting the next step in archaeological research, as we could have found a key to understanding a great deal more about Mayan culture in these artifacts. On our current historical timeline, the Yucatán region of caves is one of, if not the, first caves to be explored by the Mayans. Researchers operate under the premise that this is somewhere between 700 and 1000 BCE. Throughout this period, there was an extreme drought, so the discovery of the cave brought with it not only water, but a large underground network and space. Another key aspect to Mayan cultural beliefs is the notion that the further underground you are, the closer you are to various gods and deities. Caves and similar geographical structures were often considered to be an opening to the underworld. Holly Moyes, an anthropologist from the University of California, explained, "They represent some of the more sacred spaces for the Maya, ones that also influenced site planning and social organization. They are fundamental, hugely important to the Maya experience. Hopefully these artifacts, when examined fully, will be able to answer some questions about the Maya people and culture, letting us learn more about the population as a whole." Long-lost ancient kingdom discovered. Unearthing incredible historical artifacts and surprising remains from underneath farmland and cityscapes is just part of the job of an archaeologist. And while this alone is pretty amazing, every now and then a discovery is made that stands to change everything that historians thought they knew. One such discovery was made in January of 2021 in the Konya Plain region of Turkey. Archaeologists were working in the nearby area and were in the process of investigating Turkmen Karayahuyuk, an ancient mound site, when they received a tip from a local farmer that a recently dredged canal near where they were working had revealed a curious inscription on a stone that he thought would be worth investigation. When the archaeologists arrived, sure enough, they discovered the stone sticking out of the water and their investigation of it began, although they had no idea what discoveries were in store for them. The stone turned out to date back thousands of years, to the 8th century BCE, and the inscription was written in an ancient Bronze Age language called Luwian. However, it was what the inscribed words said that was truly exciting to researchers and archaeologists. The stone tablet was a stele that told of the military defeat of the ancient Anatolian kingdom Phrygia. Phrygia was the home of the legendary King Midas, who was said to have turned everything he touched to gold, and was immortalized in popular Greek lore. Although there were actually several Phrygian kings called Midas, the mythical king with the golden touch likely ruled around 3,000 years ago, the same time that this newly discovered tablet claimed to have overthrown Phrygia. The victorious message of the stele boasted of the defeat by a king called Hatarpu, and claimed that his forces captured King Midas and delivered him to the opposing king. Although this information is undoubtedly significant for historians and archaeologists concerned with the fate of the famous King Midas, the stone also reveals valuable information about King Hatarpu and his reign, a period of history that is largely ambiguous and mysterious. Thanks to this message boasting of his victorious military conquest, historians now speculate that the capital city of the kingdom may have actually spanned the entire mound of Turkmen Karahayu, experiencing its heyday period around the same time that they conquered neighbouring Phrygia and captured King Midas. If their suspicions are true, further investigation of the mound in the context of what has been discovered should reveal signs and remnants of ancient palaces, monuments and homes that each tell a story about the kingdom ruled over by King Hatarpu, that conquered neighbouring lands and captured the King Midas of legend. But for now, archaeologists are still in the process of conducting preliminary surveys and hope to be able to begin excavation and start learning about what lies under the mound. And just like that, a kingdom that was virtually unknown became much more prevalent due to the words engraved on a stone that happened to have been found due to a dredged canal and a farmer who was in the right place at the right time. Google Earth user spots a 400-foot ice ship off the coast of Antarctica. Google Earth is a fantastic tool that almost everyone has played around with at some point, but one particular user of the app found what they claim to be a 400-foot ice ship trapped in an iceberg about 100 miles off the coast of the freezing continent. The impressive ice formation is said to have an uncanny similarity to a cruise ship, with lines of windows and hosts of chimneys. Immediately after the Google Earth user posted their findings, the discovery blew up online in conspiracy circles, with all sorts of theories arising as to what the large glacial object could be and how it got there. Many of those involved with the theorizing declared their belief that there is something either stuck or secretly hidden away from our sight in the continent. Certain theorists suggested things ranging from it being a secluded 1940s bunker to some long-gone civilization which, for one reason or another, disappeared. YouTube user Mr. MBB333 was the first to share the images on the platform and is a self-proclaimed Earth Watchman. Furthermore, he has allegedly been using Google Earth for the entire past decade, observing the globe, its reactions to space weather, and how the Earth's inner mechanics work. Mr. MBB333 claims to monitor the entire Earth, from seabed to the mountains to space and everything around us. The video in question reveals a huge block of ice amongst a snowy white background from the basic view, but when he switches to an in-depth 3D screen, the block of ice transforms, forming the shape of a ship which he measured out in estimates to be 4,000 feet in length. It looks like a random iceberg to the onlooker, but part of it looks like it's built with purpose, like an entryway. It does not look random, as if it had a purpose. He states also pointing out the symmetrical features which he believes must have been created, not naturally formed, as certain aspects of it have crisp 90-degree angles. The video has more than 46,000 views and sparked a heavy conversation down in the comments section regarding the phenomenon. Someone in the comments claimed that it is likely something that remained from the Arctic explorations. Another commenter argued that it must be a vehicle of sorts, hidden under the ice and concealed from common sight as a bunker for the elite should a global catastrophe occur. A particular user believes that the wealthy have been going out there for about 80 years and refuse to tell the public of its existence, until now. Another person stated that they believe that ships are built underground, also to save the powerful elite 1% population like in the movie 2012. Many viewers of the video felt rage at the thought of astronauts, politicians, religious leaders and the rich having an elusive escape plan should a world-shattering disaster take out the majority of the common population. The most common theory, though, was that more investigations should be done on the continent, as there might have been a secret never before known about civilization. One other person commented, "Much more attention needs to be given to this continent. It wasn't always frozen." Whether there is any real truth to the claims, or whether any of these theories are true, we cannot know for certain. Speculation is the best we can do until more research or investigation is done into the matter. Hashima Island, Japan. Gonkanjima, meaning Battle Island, officially named Hashima Island or simply known as Hashima, is an island off Nagasaki, long since isolated and abandoned, but no means the only abandoned Japanese island. Hashima Island is one of 505 uninhabited Nagasaki islands. The architecture of Hashimi is composed primarily of concrete buildings, inhabited now only by nature. This island is both considered a symbol and milestone in the extraordinary industrialization of Japan, in modern buildings and architectural advancements. But Hashima's existence also serves as a grim symbol of past war crimes committed by the Japanese during the Second World War, primarily the now controversial belief that the island was used as a center for forced labor by prisoners of war. The island stretches 16 acres and was considered renowned for the undersea coal mines which were built in 1887, operating during the industrialization of Japan. The peak of the island's population was in 1957, with 5,259 citizens, when the island's coal industry was still afloat. By the 1970s, however, all the coal had been nearly depleted, and soon thereafter the mines were shut down, with the residents quickly leaving. The island was all but forgotten until the 2000s, when interest in the mysterious Gonkanjima rose. This time, it was its dark past that attracted people, alongside with the disturbed pieces of war history that occupy the island. Slowly, it became a tourist attraction, with some exterior walls restored for the sake of tourism. Officially, the island was opened for tourism on April 22nd of 2009. Tourism helped renew a desire for the conservation of the historic island, with the coal mine approved as a World Heritage Site in 2015. The coal mine of Hashima is considered one of Japan's Meiji Industrial Revolution sites. The island's nickname, Gonkanjima, comes from Gonkan, the word for warship, and Jima, a form of the word Shima, meaning island. The direct translation is Warship Island, later transliterated as Battleship Island in English. The reasoning behind this strange nickname actually has little to do with its military past, but more so with how the island looks. Its shape resembles the Japanese battleship known as Tosa. Coal is a huge part of the island's history, with the first coal being found in 1810. From then, the island had continuous citizens upon it, many of whom worked as miners and extracted the coal, working and living on it. In 1890, during the island's best economic booms, Mitsubishi Goshi Kaisha purchased it for the sake of extracting more coal from the undersea mines. During this time, the seawalls and artificial man-made land reclamation projects tripled the overall size of the island to allow for more workers and inhabitants. An estimated 15.7 million tons of coal were taken from the island before its resources ceased. The first concrete building was placed in 1916 and was a 7-floor apartment block meant to house miners and other workers. The concrete allowed protection against typhoons. In the 55 years that followed, countless more buildings were placed on the island, including several more apartment blocks, a school, public baths, a swimming pool, community centre, hospital, and even a town hall. The island took on a life of its own, once only meant for workers and now bustling with families and a small, dedicated community. After the start of the Second World War in the late 1930s, forcibly conscripted Korean civilians were forced to undergo heavy labour on the island alongside Chinese prisoners of war. The conditions were said to be horrific, with brutal punishments for those who tried to rebel or failed to accomplish the difficult tasks given to them. It's believed that at least 1,300 unwilling labourers perished under these work conditions on Hashima Island due to the plethora of reasons from sheer physical exhaustion to underground accidents that come with the trade of heavy labour. Malnourishment was said to be common for the conscripted labourers and the prisoners of war. It's crucial to add that in our contemporary time, many Japanese and South Korean scholars considered this to be a false theory and deny that any such thing ever occurred. Indeed, the records are unproven, and it is important to present both sides of the theory and argument. Liu Yeon, an author of the novel Anti-Japan Tribalism, states that a vast amount of records were corrupted or edited, and facts distorted over the course of time, especially regarding the issue of Korean conscription. Whether or not this happened remains debated. Captured images of Dogbone asteroid. When it comes to unravelling the secrets of the solar system, scientists must look to the composition of the objects travelling hundreds of light years away to tell the stories of how the universe was formed and what forces are acting upon it. And new photographs of a strange-looking asteroid called Cleopatra make it seem as though the asteroid might have several clues about the inner workings of the solar system hidden within its strange shape, which is decidedly Dogbone-esque. Although Cleopatra, named after the ancient Egyptian queen, was actually discovered all the way back in 1880, its odd shape was only confirmed 10 years ago, and it wasn't until recent photographs captured by the European Southern Observatory's Very Large Telescope in Chile were revealed that scientists were truly able to get a closer look at the strange characteristics of Cleopatra. The asteroid, which is located over 125 million miles from Earth in the main asteroid belt located between Mars and Jupiter, was finally able to be accurately measured and is over 250 kilometers wide and weighs over 3,300 trillion tons. These measurements, which are the most accurate that have been able to be obtained to date, have revealed that Cleopatra is almost a third lighter than previous calculations estimated. It completes one leisurely rotation every 5 hours, which is likely the fastest it could spin without its two larger lobes becoming separated. Cleopatra also has 2 moons orbiting it, dubbed Alex Helios and Clea Selene, in a continuation of the Cleopatra theme, a phenomenon that is unique but not unheard of. The moons are appropriately named after Cleopatra's children, as they likely formed from rubble that detached from the main asteroid. Frank Marcus, a lead author of a study published in the journal Astronomy and Astrophysics going over Cleopatra, says that asteroids are not inert bodies but complex mini-geological worlds. Cleopatra and other weird asteroids are natural laboratories to challenge our knowledge of the solar system and make us think outside the box. And scientists believe that the strange shape of Cleopatra will indeed make them think outside of the box as they try to determine whether the unique dog-bone appearance can offer any clues as to the composition of the asteroid. Initial speculation centers around the idea that, due to its surprisingly light weight, it is likely very loosely bound rubble of iron that formed due to an impact of larger asteroids billions of years ago. The study of such seemingly innocuous celestial objects helps scientists slowly form a complete understanding of our solar system and each small bit of information such as this acts as yet another piece in the puzzle that is the incomprehensible mass of space. But what do you make of these interesting discoveries? Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comments section below and help us by growing this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.